timeshare. But eventually, the caliphs, Muhammad's successors, who'd moved their capital from Mecca to Damascus, realized they needed a place of worship of their own. And so here, on the former temple of Jupiter that had become a Christian church, they set about inventing the Islamic mosque. The land was actually purchased from the Christians who owned it by the Umayyad Caliph Al-Walid I, for whom money was never an object. His mosque was built in a decade at stupendous expense. 7 years of taxes from the whole of Syria were spent on it before it was finished in 715. Not only is it the earliest surviving mosque, but to this day it remains amongst the most spectacular. The chief treasures of this Damascus mosque are its mosaics in twinkling glass and gold. There's been so much argument about what the golden walls are showing us. What is this fantastic architecture imagined here? Where are these rivers? Where are those trees? Some say these are perfect evocations of Damascus itself, beautified and watered. Others believe the mosaics represent the Muslim conquests, that Al-Walid I was showing the world what Islam now possessed. Personally, I just don't believe any of that. This doesn't feel at all aggressively possessive, and it doesn't look anything like Damascus. What you feel with these luxurious trees, so bounteous and green, the rippling waters, the fantastic palaces, is a sense of somewhere perfect and peaceful, somewhere like paradise. This is what Muhammad wanted to see once and only once. Even the colours of those mosaics, that luscious green, the sumptuous gold, those are the colours described in the Quran of paradise. But look, there's no one there yet. No people, no animals. It's ready, but it's empty and waiting for us. All we have to do is lead the right life, do the right things, and follow the right God. I've seen wall-to-wall imaginings of paradise like these before in Buddhist fresco cycles. If you go to India or China, and of course the traders of Damascus were famous for such travels, you'll find painted caves filled with visions of paradise, with palaces, rivers, bridges, gold, trees. So Islam took all these ingredients, bits of the Christian basilica, pieces of the Roman temple, visions of paradise from the Buddhists, and it mixed them all together and came up with something completely unmistakable and Islamic, something the world had never seen before. Yet how clearly you sense here the basic arrangement of Muhammad's simple courtyard. A covered hall to shelter the faithful from the sun, a fountain at the centre to wash at and purify yourself, the sense of a meeting place to which everyone is invited. Having settled on this basic arrangement for its first great mosque, Islam liked it so much it stayed with it for 1,000 years and beyond. I wanted to show you this unusual structure. It's where the treasures of the mosque were kept, an early Islamic bank vault set high up on these Roman columns that don't quite fit. Now up here, look carefully, there's a sundial that was used to calculate the times of the call to prayer when every Muslim was expected to turn to Mecca. Now that's a very easy thing to say. At the call to prayer, you turn to Mecca. But how exactly would somebody living in 8th century Damascus know where Mecca was? It's relatively easy here. Mecca isn't that far away. But what if you come from West Africa, from Timbuktu, or Samarkand in Central Asia, or Genghis Khan country? Well, you begin by inventing some helpful instruments like these. Astronomy, mathematics, geometry. Arabian science was far ahead of the West in all of them. And such exquisite instruments were fashioned by Islamic craftsmen to make simpler the difficult task of knowing exactly where Mecca was. No one is certain where 1001 Arabian Nights was written. Probably here in Cairo. The atmosphere's certainly right. The streets here teem with rascals, smooth talkers and clowns. It's intoxicating, but also edgy. All religions attract conflict as well as stability. With destiny to play for, there's always room for differing opinions, and Islam is no different. The big split in Islam is between Sunni and Shiite. Someone once explained it to me as the equivalent in Christianity of the difference between Methodists and Catholics, with the Shiites as the Catholics. And it's true. Shiite art is usually more ornate and florid than Sunni. But sometimes it's the other way round. With Islamic art, you never quite know where the journey's going to finish.